Good morning, Erin.
Hi.
That was a very seductive hello.
It was. Nice change of scenery here.
Oh, yeah. We're at my house.
Yeah.
Welcome to my house, as Flo Rida once famously said. So why don't we just chat about what's been going on with you? Because, you know, nothing is straightforward in this market. I'm sure we're having a lot of fun spinning our wheels and maybe getting a deal. Probably not.
Let me tell you who has not been having fun. Schmoopy needs to be rescued from the abused animal shelter. I have been abused.
Okay, well, tell us. I'm so sorry.
First of all, I had some clients that were very, very rough on me. Flat out mean. Just mean. I kind of don't want to talk about their deal, though. So I'll talk about this other situation.
Okay, don't be mean to your real estate agent. Actually, don't be mean to anyone.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah, mean people suck.
Yeah.
There's a reason that's a bumper sticker. The latest drama is that I'm representing some buyers for a house on James Island, and the seller is an active attorney who thought that he would save himself a few dollars by representing himself. And
red flag, double red flag.
Yeah.
There. Okay.
Yeah.
Keep going.
Triple flags on that one. So
you're a cheap know-it-all. That's what that tells me.
And all he cares about is the language in the fucking contract.
Oh, stop it.
So the house was not in great condition. There were a lot of repairs that came up in the inspection report. And truth be told, my buyers really didn't want the house anymore. So how you get out of that when you're under repair procedure is you ask for everything on the inspection list. You make the seller say no, and then you say, oh, we didn't come to terms. You know, we don't agree. Let's just release. Well, when he sent back his response and I said, well, we're just going to release then, he goes, well, if I sign this repair request the way it is, then we have a deal, don't we? And I go, oh, you're going to force my buyers to buy the house? And he goes, if I sign this, then we have a deal contractually. And I was like, yes. Now I have to come up with a fake name. Cliff. Yes, Cliff. We have a deal. Okay? So I go back to my buyers and I'm like, if he makes every single repair that we asked for, do you guys still want the house? And they kind of hemmed and hawed a little bit, but ultimately decided, yes, if he wants to spend the money, we shall move forward.
Okay, wait, hold on a second. So I've had this done to me as a listing agent before where I was a listing agent representing the seller. The buyer wanted to get out of the contract and then claimed that she was allergic to rat poop or something. I don't remember. But the list that they gave us was so unrealistic from a financial standpoint that it would make no sense for my seller to follow through with it. Like it was like you had to have this kind of remediation and that and whatever. So can't you just like make up like...
You can, but
But you're also not trying to be a dick.
I'm trying not to be a dick, and I think you only get one shot at a repair addendum. Like once it's signed, you can't edit it further. But also, like these were the most important repairs to the buyers, and it wasn't everything that was on the inspection report. Like I feel like we were being reasonably, I don't know. I mean, I guess when we initially sent it, they were still intending to move forward, and then they kind of slept on it for a few days, and they were like, well, you know, they were seeing other houses come on the market that looked nicer. We actually went and looked at a few, but they were poorly done, and I think they just thought that they were spending too much for the condition that the house was in. Anyway, so all through this negotiation, you know, he keeps saying stuff like, wow, I had no idea all of the things that realtors have to deal with. You know, they have to be amateur contractors and marriage therapists and blah, blah, blah. I'm like, yeah, dude, you know? And he was like, next time I'm not going to try to save myself the money. And we laughed about it. Okay. And then shit took a hard left. So he goes out of town for a week. I don't hear from him. Prior to that, he had sent me the contractor's phone number because he said, you guys can stop by there anytime to see how the repairs are coming along. So I reached out to the contractor. We set up an appointment. My buyer's actually going to have him do additional work after closing. We set up a reinspection so that we can go ahead and wrap this shit up and get closed. Well, we get half the shit's not done. And so I call the contractor and I'm like, do you think you're going to be done this week? Because if not, we're not really going to sign this closing date change addendum. And we kind of want to be done with this. Maybe the buyers will take a credit and you can finish up after closing. And the seller calls me this morning and goes, I hear you've been contacting my contractor.
After he gave you permission.
I said, Cliff.
What the fuck, Cliff?
You gave me his phone number. And he said, yeah, so that you could get a quote on the bathroom renovation. I said, the bathroom renovation and to check on the progress of repairs. I don't understand. Oh, this is contractual interference.
Is Cliff married? Mm-hmm. Poor gal.
Yeah.
Okay,
he
continue.
got a little bit of a temper.
Okay.
He's called it contractual interference, that I was contacting his contractor.
You're running interference.
I'm running interference. I said, Cliff, you were out of town for a week, and I was just trying to make sure that this train keeps on moving and we get to the closing table on time. I said, by the way, every time I ask you a question, you assume it's an objection, because the first time I got cussed out by Cliff, and anyone who reads my Instagram stories will see this, I texted our assistant Cynthia to let her know that Cliff cussed me out about some wall paneling. So the deal with that was there's an entire room, living room, that has vertical wall paneling because the house was built in the 70s. The one wall that has the fireplace on it had a bunch of termite damage. That all had to be repaired behind the wall rather than, I get it, the 70s wall paneling that is in the rest of the house was not available today, but he decided to replace it with horizontal shiplap. Newsflash, shiplap can go vertical as well. It just depends on how you put it up. So he sends us a picture of the replaced wall, and I go, is there a reason you didn't put the shiplap vertical so it matched the rest of the room? Picks up the phone, cusses me out. I said, okay, it was just a question. It was just a question. Like, they'll live with the horizontal shiplap on one wall of this living room. So fast forward back to this morning. I said, I was just asking the contractor a question. Like, does he think he'll be finished this week? If not, we'll take a credit. He goes, we have bent over backwards trying to get all of these repairs done. And I said, Cliff, newsflash, that's what realtors do. Mm-hmm. We bend over backwards constantly to get shit done by a deadline. Mm-hmm. You were the one that said you wanted to take on all of these repairs to force my buyer to close. Mm-hmm. And you said that you would have them done. I am simply just following up. Mm-hmm. And maybe next time you'll have a little bit more respect for real estate agents and all that we do.
And pay one to manage all this shit for you.
Right.
And for all of you that think you want to get in the real estate business, this is another reason you should think again.
Yes. So, I've had a real fun morning. Oh, the other thing is that, when I was explaining some stuff to him, I also had to explain to him the difference between a clear and a not clear CO 100, which for anyone who's not local is a termite and moisture inspection, and why we needed the contractor to just write a letter. And so when we were on the phone this morning, I said, this is what's frustrating for me, Cliff, is that if there were a realtor on the other side, then I wouldn't be having to deal with, first of all, your emotional abuse and explaining some of these other things. And he cuts me off and he goes, I am the realtor on the other side.
Oh my gosh.
I was like, bro.
Yeah.
You need to simmer down.
Yeah.
It's like 9:09 a.m. Mm-hmm. You're screaming at me. And this is not how professionals speak to each other. Mm-hmm. So
you're thinking these things, though. You're not saying these things.
No. I said several things.
What did you say?
I wish there was a realtor on the other side. And maybe next time you'll have more respect for all that agents have to go through, because our job is bending over backwards constantly to make shit work.
Well, and the other thing is, like, we speak very candidly on the podcast about things. And I just want to make it known that neither you nor I ever handle ourselves unprofessionally in terms of, like, you know, I don't raise my voice.
No.
I don't yell.
I don't cuss at somebody either.
When somebody's saying all kinds of stupid shit to me like that, I'm just like, yeah.
Cussing is reserved for, like, joking around or, you know, saying this is some crazy shit or whatever. But
Right.
he was like dropping a lot of F-bombs and a lot of goddams when I was questioning him about the wall paneling.
Yeah.
And I think there's a lesson to be learned here too. It's not just a real estate thing, but I find it quite a common practice that when someone gets asked a question, they take it as an objection and they immediately get on the defensive. And it's like, I'm just trying to gather information. I'm not accusing you of doing anything wrong.
Cliff is reacting and not responding, which goes against...
because he's emotional about this house, because he's the owner.
And that's why real estate agents exist.
Yes.
Yes, to save you from yourself. Cliff should have hired somebody to save you from yourself.
Sorry,
Probably
Cliff.
could have gotten more money, too. Anyway,
so that's what's going on with me.
That's it? That's all that's going on with you?
No.
Oh, well, what else? Tell.
Nothing as exciting as that. I've got,
What's going on with your mountain house
30
saga?
buyers. Oh, yeah. So been up to the mountains quite a bit to look at some houses. One time we have some friends that we met at the dog park here who also bought a house up there. They closed in February, so we've been staying with them. We'll stay there even if they aren't there. And we left the house at like 8:30 that morning and didn't get back till 7:30 p.m. And we're driving into the neighborhood and there is orange glow up to like as high as I can see above all the trees. Their neighbor's house was like huge fucking fire. I mean, it was the scariest thing I had ever seen, especially because it's the mountains. There's trees everywhere. When we were turning into the neighborhood, I thought it was their house, and I was like, "Oh my God, we left the fireplace." Yes, I mean, I've never felt like my stomach dropped so quickly. But so it was a house that was being renovated. There were workers there that morning. I don't know what the cause. What started the fire, but it burned up so quickly. It really was one of the scariest things I've ever seen. And we were standing out across the street, and some of the neighbors that do live there full time, because the mountains are mostly summer homes. Mm-hmm. Some of the neighbors that do live full time walked down and started talking to us. And I go, I just want you to know that I was the first person to call 911, and that was 21 minutes ago. And the fire truck had like just rolled up, and she goes, "Wow, that's great. We have the best fire department." And I was like, 21 fucking minutes is great? Somebody in there would have not only died, but they're like charred by now.
It's rural.
It's rural. So.
And that's what you want.
It is.
So you haven't found anything? You hadn't found a house?
No, we did find another one, and we lost in a multiple offer situation. I have some strong suspicions that the agent on the other side is doing some shady shit.
Ooh.
We caught him in a lie already. And then...
What did he lie about?
About the house about the other contract being signed off on. We went back to see it the next day after we submitted our offer, first thing in the morning, before we had heard back whether we won or lost. The sellers pull up while we're there because they had like a dead fob for their car and needed to grab a battery or something. So we start chatting with them. Spence starts to charge their battery on their car. Like, we spent an hour with these people. While we're there, our agent gets a text that the other contract has been signed. And the wife had just said, "We haven't signed anything yet. We had multiple offers. We actually haven't even looked at the offers yet." That they were getting ready to go meet this other agent. So that was a lie. And then the husband told us right there, he was like, "This is really fortuitous that we met because we wanted to meet the buyers, and he did say that, but without directly saying it, he was like, "We can tell that this house is for you."
Well, that's what I was going to say. So they met you and they didn't pick you. What the fuck?
And so,
What?
yeah.
How could they not pick y'all?
Well, exactly. And so anyway, Spence and this man exchanged phone numbers. They've talked on the phone every day since. That guy, they did end up going with the other offer, but they sent us this message that was like they felt sorry about it, and they really encouraged us to submit a backup offer. And
Why'd they pick the other offer?
Well, I think the other agent is a little manipulative, and I'm sure it's either his buyer or his broker's buyer, and they're getting both sides of the deal because it's just a little too shady. The sellers are in their 80s. I think that he was taking advantage of them and really pushing them to do something that maybe they didn't realize what they were doing. This guy did tell Spencer on the phone yesterday that his agent had lied to him about something. So I don't know. I might be filing a little ethics claim up in North Carolina.
You have got some serious drama with your
drama going on.
mountain house shit.
I know. It's emotional. It's enough about me. What's happening with you?
I don't know. I've been having fun.
Yeah. Yeah. It's so funny that you and I are busy and slow at opposite time.
Yeah.
Like when you're slam busy, I'm like, well, I'm going to go get my nails painted for the third time this week, you know? And then,
I mean, I've been selling stuff, but it's been kind of, I've been writing contracts, but, like I wrote a contract on a house that had 16 offers and my buyer didn't listen to my advice. So there was like a 0% shot that was going to work. Just picked a number out of thin air. You can't do that. And I wrote an offer on an off-market listing over the weekend that is probably going to work out. And that's for a place downtown. And sold a couple listings last week. And in terms of that, I was just reminded that when a seller is selling a house for the first time, I have to approach them like a first-time home buyer. And the thing that I say to the team all the time, everything you say can and will be used against you. And that happened to me. So the buyer came to us and asked us to get the CL 100 clear because there was some kind of structural issue. My sellers had negotiated a little bit on some other repairs. They gave them like $5,000 and they said, that's all we're going to do. We're not going to clear the CL 100. That's it. No, not doing it. And you and I know, like, you kind of have to clear a CL 100. You don't have to, and you certainly don't have to do anything in this market as a seller. But, I just said to them, I said, pretty much any buyer in your price point, it's going to be a first-time home buyer. The house is going to have to be structurally sound. We're going to have to get this repaired. We're going to have to do something. And they were like, nope, we're not doing it. So I went back to the buyer and, negotiated that for them, which really did. I don't think it had to do with my negotiating skills. I think that they just wanted the house. And then I called my sellers back and they're like, we're weighing our options. And I was like, what the fuck do you mean you're weighing your options?
What options?
We're closing in 10 days. What options are there to weigh? And the wife says to me, she said, you said nothing was a guarantee until closing. You know that I say that. You hear me every time. I say that on the phone and what I mean is don't spend the fucking money until the money is in your bank after closing. Yeah. That's what I mean. She interpreted it as we don't have to sell the house. Well, you've signed a contract that says you're going to sell the house. And, I think what happened was they were frustrated by the people asking them for stuff. They're emotional. They're packing up their house. They're stressed out, all that stuff. But, that was a failure on my part, for sure, to communicate clearly what I meant.
Well.
Or not.
I mean.
Okay.
I think that was a little bit rare that someone would.
Interpret it that way?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, fine. Thanks. I didn't do anything wrong then.
No, you didn't.
All right. Good. Well, anything else you want to talk about?
No, people, come on, we need houses to sell. Sell your houses. I've got 40 buyers.
Yeah, I know,
now.
me too. I've got a gazillion buyers and I want more. Please continue to call me. That's not what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Please continue, especially all of you that have all this money. Thank you for calling me.
I mean, if you have a second or a third home in Charleston and you don't really use it or need it,
I don't even think that's
cash out.
I am going to sell my house. We're going to talk about that because we did get a Dear Smoopy question about that. But the thing that we hear every single day incessantly, this person has said it to me, this person has said it to me, this person has said it to me across the street, every
I've
single
said it.
neighbor. You have, yes. Where would I go? Where would I go? Okay. No, you can figure out something. The first thing you need to do is figure out how much equity you can get. And I mean, like a lot of people I know are sitting on $500,000 plus in equity that bought like not too long ago.
Yeah.
And, I thought my house was worth like 1.2 a couple months ago. And now I think it's probably like 1.7 or 1.8 or more. I don't even know. But, I'm just going to take the cash and figure out something else. And not everybody has the freedom to do that. But I've had people tell me, I've just called everybody and I'm like, look, I'll come over and tell you what I think you could get. I had one person tell me they could send all 3 of their children to college. It's a big fucking deal. I heard one of my girlfriends was like, I'm just going to travel for a year. Amazing.
Yeah.
Like you want all this shit parked in the equity of your house. I don't know if that's what your greatest asset is equity in your house, then I absolutely would consider selling. And if you do not have a trusted real estate advisor, please contact Erin and I to come over and we'll talk to you about it. The other thing is like, you should never, your real estate professional should be a no pressure consultant and coach and advisor. Like you should never, ever feel pressured by your real estate professional. And if you do, just find another one because there's a gazillion great ones. So yeah, I mean, sell your houses, please.
Sell your houses.
And that concludes another episode of Between Two Brokers. Thank you guys so much for listening. Don't forget to rate, review, and subscribe. Tell all your friends, share on your social media platforms, and that's it. Bye.